Hey, everybody, we're 2 minutes out, so hang tight. We'll get started here in just a minute. Hey, good morning. I'm actually a minute early. Surprise, surprise. We'll get started here in just a second. Get some things ready. I'm also recording this as a podcast, so it will be available up on my website, so you can check that out. And there's links there to all the podcast links. Links to podcast links. Wow, I'm being redundant this morning. There will be links to all of the podcasts on my website that is available to you on iTunes. So yes, we made the big jump, got over there on iTunes. Okay, so good morning, everybody. Thanks so much. I am honored for anybody that takes time out of their day to listen to what I have to say. I'm here to provide education. I'm here to provide truth in real estate. If I'm looking back and forth, I apologize, but I'm running two different cameras and I'm really by myself. So please bear with me. Hopefully you can overlook that. If you're on the podcast, then it really doesn't matter to you where I'm looking at this moment. But real brief, again, just to keep myself in check, this is about truth in real estate. I'm not here trying to promote myself. If I can help you, of course, certainly will be glad to. But, you know, this is free. This is a brain dump. This is what I have as far as 8 years of knowledge in real estate. Bachelor's degree in psychology. Again, I'm not promoting. I'm simply stating fundamentals of where my validity comes from. Okay, so I will do my best to be truthful. If I can cite a source, I will. If it's an opinion, I'll tell you. If it's a mixture of both, I will tell you that as well. All right, so great. Thanks so much for being here. Again, I am blessed and humbled that you are here with me. This is real estate. Some will be specific to Tampa Bay, but real estate is geographically relevant a lot of times, but a lot of times it's not. And there are things that will work across the board. So I don't care if you're in California, New York, Mississippi, Alabama. If you have a real estate question and you feel like you need to go somewhere that you can get the truth to that question and find an answer, hit me up. I'll be more than happy to help you no matter what. Okay. So with that said, it is a Thursday morning here in Tampa Bay. Again, I love this area. This is probably one of my favorite times of the year, this April, mid-March through about mid-May. It's just so beautiful here. It's the same way in the fall. Temperatures are very normal, mid-70s, upper 80s sometimes. We're going to get to the 80s today. It was a little chilly this morning. It was about 47 in the area that I woke up. I live up in North Pasco. And so it was a bit chilly this morning when we got up, but that's okay. That cool air, boy, that and the caffeine, that'll get you going right away. So, that's those moderate temps, I think, really that just on a daily basis, that's pretty consistent in the spring and fall. It just really makes being here something that I adore and I love it. And anything I can do to help promote Tampa Bay and anybody here by any means, any type of artist, please hit me up. I don't care if it's poetry, painting, music, words, anything I can do to help promote fellow people, fellow businesses in the Tampa Bay area. I love to help. And so let me know. I'm not charging a fee for this. I'm not trying to do any type of advertising. So please feel free to hit me up. Okay. All right. Topic for today is, this is something that, pardon my French, just pisses me off. It's so easy to put our code of ethics in our back pocket, and is realtors who post on Facebook, most of them are in some sort of ethical violation. And the reason that this is of a concern to me is that, I understand the cumbersome actions that are prevalent when you're posting. You have to go back in and do some things. But, I guess for the big point for me with this is that if no one's looking and they're breaking the rules and they're not following and doing what they're supposed to be doing and no one's watching them, how can you trust them to be a fiduciary for you as a client if you're not watching them either? Okay, so we're going to get into that topic in a little bit. Hopefully, I had 3 viewers on yesterday. I got to admit, it kind of threw me because usually I'm sitting here looking as I am right now, and there's nobody on watching. And so I was just like, I'm in La La Land, man. You know, nobody's paying attention really to me right this minute. And all of a sudden, I had 3 people jump on to Instagram. And I was like, you know, my mind is usually 2 or 3 steps ahead of where I am when I'm speaking. And that really just kind of threw me, I have to admit. So, but again, I'm appreciative. I'd love to have more people on there. Just, you know, it was the first time really that happened in about 4 or 5 episodes where someone actually got on there. So, you know, it kind of threw me a bit. So I will admit that. Let's see. Oh, I did make a mistake as well yesterday. I got in excitement over the hockey fever. I misspoke in that the playoffs started yesterday. Duh. No, idiot. They're tonight. Okay. But I know I got to go get a Tampa Bay Lightning hat and things because I do try to promote everything Tampa Bay. And so I'm lax, but we'll get there. But regardless, go Bolts. You know, they've had a really great season. I was glad to see them rebound from last year. They had a lot of injuries. They're in for a tough fight with the New Jersey Devils, no doubt. I know I talked about this yesterday. The Devils skate hard. They're well coached. But I think Tampa Bay will prevail, and we'll hopefully get into the second round. But we don't want to take this this first round lightly. Excuse me. All right. Let's see. The Rays, 2-1 losers yesterday in Chicago. I'm okay with the 2-1 loss. I mean, you know, I'm sure there's things that they could have done, but let's remember again, this is a very young team. This is a new team. These folks, you know, these players have all been brought in this past season. So they don't know each other. They don't have developed that cohesiveness, having been a high school basketball coach and soccer for 25 years and a few other small sports here and there too. Trust me, I'm well aware of the process that it takes. I don't care if they're pros or not. There's no amount of money that's ever going to get past the human condition. And, you know, it just takes time to build that cohesiveness and build a team together. So I'm not going to hammer them or pound them right now. 2-1 loss. At least we were in it. I think we won 2 out of 3 in Chicago against the White Sox. So that is a good thing. And we are home. We're off today, and we are home tomorrow. Let's see. Let me see who we are playing. I think it's Philadelphia, if I'm correct. Tampa Bay schedule. Yes, we have interleague play against the Phillies. And what's really cool is tomorrow, Friday, $7 ticket, 7-Eleven. I think you have to go to 7-Eleven to purchase those tickets. But hey, for $7, I think I'm gonna try to make it myself. $7 to see a baseball game, and an up and coming team, a young team. I know they're hustling. I'm gonna give them that. I definitely know they're hustling, and they'll get there. So $7.11 to see the Rays take on the Phillies tomorrow at at the stadium over in St. Pete. Yeah, Emily is where the Lightning play. So check them out, and if you see me, holler. 1 or 2 people that might know me. So check that out too. Lightning are on tonight. Something interesting. I watched Sell It Like Sirhan last night. I really liked it. It was Bravo-ish. I felt like I was still kind of watching some subset of $1 Million Listing, which obviously it is with Ryan Sirhan there. But I liked his genuineness. I liked the fact that he was there for good reasons to be helping and assisting the people that he was there with. Trying to get back to my screen. There we go. And so I like that part of it. I like that it was someone who was struggling, and they got it together. So nice start to Sell It Like Sirhan. It's on Wednesdays at 10 on Bravo, and I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. Good job. Check it out. Interesting news that I saw. There's a rumor. Frontier has yet to confirm it, but Frontier is one of our internet and cable TV providers here in the Tampa Bay area. Both cable providers were sold. There's 2. We have there's a few small offshoots. If you're one of those companies, I'm not degrading you in any way, shape, or form. Don't run there with that. But right now, I'm just talking about the 2 major players in the area, and that is Frontier and that is Spectrum. Now, Spectrum, I can't remember who their parent company is, but they bought out Bright House Networks. And then Frontier, which is from up north, they bought out Verizon Fios. Both companies had some serious growing pains and some serious learning curves that they experienced. Both had a lot of disappointed customers. The transition was horrible. The customer service was horrible. They had a hard time adapting to the Tampa Bay area, the nationality, the area that we are and what we are, the geographical location, understanding what is going on here versus what they knew was just a total and complete debacle. So Spectrum has recovered a little. Frontier, this is the news I was getting to. Frontier is supposedly taking on a consultant to help them sell their Tampa Bay operations in Fios that they recently bought from Verizon. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is just my opinion. And I have no inside knowledge whatsoever. This is strictly opinion. But I think Verizon probably pulled off one of the greatest, I don't want to say con because I can get in trouble if I'm using that type of derogatory statement there, I think, but I really think they pulled the wool over a lot of people's eyes, especially Frontier. Here's what I think. This is just my basic thoughts, and this is all conjecture and it's fiction. So, but this is what I think happened. Verizon knew 5G technology was coming. They were going to be the leader of implementing 5G. And this is, we're talking 2 years ago. And I think Verizon said to themselves, we would be really stupid to put our own technology, which we have now in the Fios and the cable and so forth. We would be really stupid to put our own technology out of business, to antiquate ourselves, to do that to ourselves. So what I think happened, they saw two opportunities coming up. They knew Yahoo was available. Yahoo number 2, I believe, behind Google. I don't think there's anybody. I don't think Bing has surpassed Yahoo yet, Microsoft. But Yahoo there's a big gap there between Yahoo and Google. But Verizon knew Yahoo was undervalued and they could jump on that. And I think that Verizon knew at the time that they were selling Fios, that they put Fios up for sale, that their end game wasn't as much as Yahoo, but it was their 5G technology that they have coming up that is going to kind of bring together cell phone, internet, and all of those services together in one complete total bundle. And I think that's where they're headed and where they were headed when they sold Fios. And it's just a brilliant business move. I mean, and as far as Frontier, I mean no disrespect, and this is just simply one humble realtor's opinion in Tampa Bay, but Frontier, I think, should be taught in every business school. Take a look at this study and this model of how badly they screwed up. They came down here and they tried to bring their ways of doing business that was somewhat successful for them up north down here into the Tampa Bay area, and it has just been a total complete cluster, you know what, like a monkey doing something to a football. I think what was that, the racing movie with Tom Cruise. That's basically what they've been. They've dropped their price so low on introductory internet. I think you're getting 150 and 150 megabits per second up and down for $40. That's how desperate they are to be, and they're extremely undercutting Spectrum's prices. Spectrum has $69 for 100 down, I believe, and 18 or 25 up. A cable modem up speed is horrendous. I have both. I use both, and I keep one as a backup. But the up speed on Spectrum is not good, and especially if you're trying to access anything that's within your own internal network. Like I use Plex a lot, and I use it away from the home, and that was buffering a lot of times. I really had to drop the speed down the upload speed down on Plex to almost like 7 megabits per second just to get it to flow right. With the FiOS, the up speed, I'm running full 1080p away from home, and it's really doing well. But regardless, let's get back to I'm a little off on that. But basically, Frontier is up there with the debacle of business with like Chevrolet. Back in the 70s, Chevrolet tried to, well, they introduced the Nova, the Chevy Nova, into the Mexican market. For my non-Spanish speaking friends out there, in case you don't know, Nova means no go in Mexican Spanish. So Chevrolet could not understand for the longest time why no one wanted to buy a car in Mexico with the label, it's not going anywhere. I think that ranks number one in the all-time business failures. The Edsel, the lack of the automotive industries, probably got the most business failures and lack of recognition. They've got at least two that I know of that we talked about in business school when I was there. That was number one, the Edsel. He was so far ahead of his time. And on almost every safety feature that you see on a car today can somewhat be traced back to Edsel himself. No, I'm sorry. I misspoke. Excuse me. That's Tucker, not Edsel. Excuse me. Tucker. Not enough caffeine. Sorry about that. It is Tucker that did the safety features at Detroit, ran him out. And then there was another gentleman named Crosby, and I'm having to go back 20 years to these business classes, so excuse me if I'm not getting everything exactly right. But 20 years ago, you know, when I was in class, we were talking about Crosby. Now, this gentleman, everybody talks about how great Japan is, Asia is, especially Japan, with how they're doing with quality and everything else, you know, that it's a Japanese thing. No offense to, you know, Japanese culture, but there is, you know, they do have an inherent certain level of quality, but more had to do with Crosby. Crosby took these quality assurance and you know, how to do business in the automotive industry. And he went to Detroit and tried to get the automakers to implement his ideas about quality control and producing, you know, a great product. And they wanted nothing to do with him. They ran him out. So Japan was willing to listen to his ideas. And that's why you had for the longest time so many automotive companies from Japan being, you know, on the tops of JD Power and quality assurance and all that thing. So again, there's just so many business failures, so much lack of understanding of the market that you're going into. And I think it plays out in the real estate as well, especially for realtors. You need to know your audience. You need to know who your customers are. And really, if you don't know, and don't make assumptions, ask questions. That's really what I liked about the Sirhan, going back to that for just a moment in the subject, like Sirhan episode number 1. He really asked a lot of questions. So, and I mentioned this previously in another show, Ryan Sirhan is not there by accident. He's not there. The show is not making him do well. If you're not doing well and you don't have the fundamentals down of business, you're not going to succeed no matter what. You might get a bump in that business because of certain levels of exposure. But if you don't have something that's inherent, and you don't have something that is core and central to you, which is helping people, and I really saw that come out in Ryan in that show yesterday, then you're not going to make it no matter whether the camera's on you or not. So huge what's a flubber, I think it is, that I'm doing with my words right now. Huge mess up on Frontier's part, and I think that they're going to sell it, and probably going to sell it for a loss, and they're going to be a huge business study about screwing up and when you take over something and moving into a new area. So good lessons there to go through. So let's get into real estate headlines. This is the Ask Brad J Real Estate Show. The weekly mortgage applications are up, 11% increase in applications, over 10% from the previous week. So the desire to buy homes is there. I'm not happy at any type of artificial stimulation of trying to make houses more available to people. Yes, I know I'm in sales, but I'm not going to do anything or run anything that starts out with what's best interest for me. I'm always going to look at what's best for the long run and for this industry as a whole. And we can't keep artificially adding more buyers because there's always a give and take. And by upping the debt ratio now that Fannie Mae and everybody else is doing from 45 to 50, when does that stop? And we've shown before, when people start overextending themselves, the mortgage gets pushed to the side, and it's always going to be the last thing to be taken care of. So I'm sounding a warning sign right now. Stop trying to artificially alter the market. Let it work itself out. That's just the truth. That's the way I see it. And that's basically what I was talking about in my next one. The lenders are easing credit standards as home prices and rates rise. 50% is what they're at now to debt ratio. They're claiming that, well, there's 100,000 new mortgages, but that 100,000 new mortgages today, what happens 3 years from now when the debt ratio is even higher and they can't afford it? Then we're going to have 100,000 foreclosures. So someone needs to step back and say, just stop making laws and rules and trying to do things for your own short-term gains. That's what we're doing right now. And it just, we've been there before, and it's not a good thing. And we need to fix it and stop it soon, or else we're going to be back in the exact same boat that we were in before. Hawaii, I'm not sure if anybody knows the cost of living there, and I know we're in Tampa Bay, but I do want to kind of be across the country, and that's just something that's interesting, because if it's happening in Hawaii, it can happen anywhere. But a bill has been filed to amend Hawaii's state constitution to allow the legislature to create a new surcharge on residential investment properties. It's just another tax, and let me rephrase for a minute. It is extremely expensive to live in Hawaii, across the board, gas, food, everything, because it all has to be shipped into the islands. So you're already high in the cost of living. That was the word I was trying to find. Cost of living is already high enough, and now, and that cost is going to be passed on to renters. Though you're not taxing the investment owners of rental properties. They're not going to pay it. They're going to pass it on. So you already have, high rentals as it is. So now you're hitting the renters even more, because it's just going to be passed down to them. Hello, Hawaii. Sorry, but that's just absolutely stupid. The dumbest thing I could have ever heard of. Okay. So if it happens there, it can happen anywhere. So keep an eye on that. Yet someone else is trying to completely eliminate real estate agents, the Uber of realtors. They're talking about Arrive Home. Arrive Home is going to be an app that's going to have realtors on demand so that you can see a house just like that. This is just, I'm sorry, if you're a realtor out there and you sign up for this, you're lazy. Just get out of this business. Seriously, this is not a good day for news for me. I'm sorry. But, if you're even thinking about signing up this because you want to make $50 to go show a house, go do something else. You're a detriment to this business. You're a detriment to this industry. And really, and this is not coming from me trying to protect my commissions, because I don't care. I don't care about, these apps that are going to show you right away. All you're doing is bringing down the industry completely. So, seriously, go do something else. $1 Million Listing Los Angeles will return for season 11. I'm glad to see that. Again, I've mentioned, if there's, if you're just a fan of real estate, great, check it out. It's easy to be wooed by the high dollars, both in New York and Los Angeles. But if you're a realtor, I think that you should be looking at the process. You should be learning from the things that they do, and not so much the behaviors, but the interactions and how they are dealing with different scenarios. Real estate's different all the time, and you get a chance to see something that's going down that's outside of what you're doing every day. So you certainly can learn something. I've learned a lot, and so I love the shows. Great deal. All right. So that wraps up the news. Kind of went on a little bit longer than I anticipated. I apologize. This will be a little bit longer, but the topic for today is realtors' Facebook posts and that most are ethically flawed. Okay. I spend a lot of, I'm going to say I spend a huge amount of time. I try to be strategic with my time that I spend on social media, especially on Facebook. I do a lot of work in Facebook groups. I have several that I manage myself. And I got to tell you, the ridiculousness of ethical violations that I see from realtors on a daily basis is pathetic. We have a code of ethics. We have a series and a set of criteria that we're expected to follow. There's no one there policing it. We're pretty much left on our own. And I see so many postings. Check this house out. Open house here. This house is for sale. Blah, blah, blah. And I'll scroll down and there's no disclaimer. There's no disclosure at all that you are, or that a realtor has this listing and is representing. The reason for that, the reason that is there, that you're supposed to say who you are, is because we are misleading the public. When you post up as a realtor and you're not being clear who you are, a lot of people are thinking that you might be the individual seller that is putting the home up there. And you have, as a consumer, have a right to know the first contact that you're making regarding the inquiry about a home, that you are dealing with the realtor going in and not the homeowner. That's just a basic right of the consumer to have this knowledge. We as realtors are expected to ensure and adhere to that criteria. So if I put something up, I say, okay, I've got a open house coming up at 7215 Jones Street. Okay. When I can do all my descriptions and I can talk about the home in the writing, and then at the bottom or at the end, I must disclose that, and for my case, it's going to read Brad Jenkins, Realtor. I like to put, my degree, because that separates me from many realtors. And then I have to put my agency, the brokerage that I work for. I have to put their contact information, their address, their city, their state, their zip, their phone number. And then I put my phone number. Now that's a lot to have to additionally type in. But you know what? If you're not willing to do it, you're being lazy. You're doing it and you're not being professional. So I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out, Facebook realtors. If you're not following the code of ethics and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing by disclosing who you are, then you're not being ethical and you're only in it for the short term. Map, I think I'm looking at you sideways. I apologize, but I do want to say hello. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. But seriously, if you can't take the extra 30 seconds that it takes to type in additional required information to follow the code of ethics when you're posting on Facebook, then stop. Stop. Because you're demonstrating again, when no one's looking, when no one is watching you, and you think that no other entity that either polices what realtors should be doing, which doesn't happen, and most realtors don't take the time and don't have the time. I don't have the time to sit there and call everybody out, but dang it, it's these little small things across the board that start to add up that causes people to say, you know what, I'm going to go to an app to get an offer on my home. I'm going to go to an app to help me buy a home. I'm going to go to Zillow. I'm going to go to Trulia. Yeah, they're selling, they're buying, but you know what? As the consumer, they're not costing them anything. They're not getting good information. Zillow itself admits their estimate is 15 to 18% off, and that's why they have to have $1 million contest to get the brightest mathematicians in the world to try to solve it for them. Okay, but because we are so not ethical in what we do when no one is watching, How can the consumer have trust in us that when they're not watching us, that we're not doing the same thing, that we're not taking the shortcuts, that we're not willing to invest an additional 30 seconds into our clients to do the right thing? So seriously, maybe I'm wrong. You tell me, what do you think? But we have a code of ethics for a reason. When you join this industry and you're a part of this industry, you have to set aside what you want for the best of this industry itself. That's why that code of ethics is there. Now it's not being enforced, and we can get into all of those reasons at some other time. But for the most part, right now, if you are not part of the greater good and the understanding and the implication and the application of that code of ethics, then please get out, please stop, and just go. I'm serious. Think about it. 30 seconds it takes to type in on your phone, or you can access Facebook on your computer. You should be able to type fairly decent. I can type 30 words a minute, I think. So 60 seconds to type in what you do. And really, if you're efficient, you can do a copy and paste. You should have that saved. Have your contact information saved somewhere, a notepad or somewhere on your phone that you can quickly go in, hit select all, copy, go back to Facebook, and hit the cursor button there and hit paste, and you're done. So you should even be able to do it in less than 10 seconds. So frankly, right here, this is what we boiled down to. 10 seconds to be more professional and to make this business more customer focused and what's the word I'm looking for? To have integrity. And you can't take 10 seconds to do that. Think about that. Think about that. When the next time that you're posting on Facebook as a realtor, ask yourself, do I want to take 10 more seconds to be more professional? I hope you will. Okay. Another thing to be wary about, for the most part, I might be wrong. Someone correct me if I am, but I believe as an individual person, you can share just about anything that is within community guidelines on Facebook. But if you're a realtor, you better have a business page to promote and do most of your realty business. Okay. You can share on your own individual page, I believe, your posts from your business page, because you can, like I said, you can share, pudding and jello and gum and, all of those things as well. So, you can do those things, but you cannot come in directly as an individual and promote straight out posts on your regular Facebook page to your realty business, or for any business for that matter. New Tampa pressure washing. Good morning, gentlemen and ladies. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. How you doing? We're talking about Facebook posts by realtors, and they're unprofessional when they do not include their contact info. And right now we're covering a little bit about the fact that, and I think this goes across the board for any business, not just realtors, but you must have a business page to promote your business. We're talking about the fact that you can come back and share your posts from your business page, but they must originate on your business page and not on your personal page. So here again, I keep stressing the fact that we need to do the little things to make us stand out and get that confidence back from the consumer that we are here to help you. We are here to put you first and our commission second. And I have this conversation with all of my clients all the time. They like to tease me, and I'm okay with, shoot, trust me. I taught high school. I taught 17 and 18-year-olds, man. I get into a match with wits with them all the time. So nothing ever bothers me, but I try to assure my clients, it's like, look, if I take on a situation, whether I'm representing you as a buyer, I'm representing you as a seller, I don't care what the end result is, because I already know what I'm going to make, and I'm okay with that. Okay. If I'm not okay with what the results are going to be, then I'm not going to take it. But 90% of the time I do. I've represented people on a $38,000 condo all the way up to a $750,000 property over in Port Richey. Okay. The end result was I had happy clients. If you sat down both clients, regardless of the price point, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference of the customer service that they got. bring that. I don't care, who you are and what business you are. If you don't have that passion and you don't bring that to what you do every day, you might not be in the right place for you. Okay. So I think that's going to wrap it up. Wow, we're already on 34 minutes. I didn't intend to go this long, but most of my students that were previously with me will tell you Mr. Jenkins talks too much. So maybe I've spoken too much today, but regardless, I hope I've added to your day. The folks that just joined us, thanks so much. This will be available on replay on my website, on YouTube, and as a podcast. So we'll see you. This is Thursday, so on one more day, and we're over the hump, and we're down, heading into the weekend, and hopefully you have some fun things to do at Tampa Bay. Don't forget, like I said, if you want to see the Rays, it's $7.11 for tickets tonight. I'm really going to try to go there. I need to get out and have some fun. So we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.